Well, hello there, and welcome to another J&J Tabletop video. My name is Jake, and with me as always is Josh, and we're going to talk about Sharpshooter, which is another very classic feat, very powerful feat, a feat that a lot of martial characters would use if they're going to use a ranged weapon. Let's talk about how the new one works, starting off with an ability score increase. You increase your dexterity score by 1 to a maximum of 20. You also get bypass cover. Your ranged attacks with weapons ignore half cover and 3/4 cover. Firing in melee, being within 5 feet of an enemy doesn't impose disadvantage on your attack rolls with ranged weapons. And long shots, attacking at long range doesn't impose disadvantage on your attack rolls with ranged weapons. Josh, as with Great Weapon Master, once again, we don't have the -5 to attack for the +10 damage bonus. That was pretty much the draw of this in the past.
Yeah, I mean, there's no damage bonus now. It's still significant. It's huge to have this for multiple reasons. I mean, one, just look at what the long range is on your longbow. You could put together probably 5 battle maps that you're used to and still be within range. But if you want that damage bonus, you'll have to go to Great Weapon Master for it, because it is, or I suppose it depends on what kind of bow or ranged weapon you're using. But if it's heavy, that's where you'll get the damage bonus. One thing that's interesting here, the Sharpshooter was strong even without the damage bonus. Now you get an ASI and firing in melee, which to me is kind of a huge buff. Back in 2014 D&D, back when I was a kid, you'd have to go to the crossbow expert feat to get firing in melee, and this just kind of totally changes the way that you could play an archer. You don't need a melee weapon anymore. Your bow is a melee weapon, and that's pretty huge. I think one other thing, it's the same thing I said about Great Weapon Master. I do wish that you had 2 options for the ability score increase. As you continue to just get feat after feat after feat, you're going to run out. Your dex is going to be at a 20, and then what are you going to do? So maybe that's nitpicky. Maybe it's not. You decide as the viewer. But Jake, how do you feel about Sharpshooter overall? Do you like it? Do you think this is a good change?
It's a good question. I don't know. I think there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to want to have to actually play and use and see if how does it feel to be at the table with Sharpshooter. Again, we're kind of nerfing choice, as we saw with Great Weapon Master, where you're no longer choosing the risk reward of the -5 for the +10. So if you want to get the damage bonus, you still have the Great Weapon Master option, but that's kind of just one more feat, I guess, that you have to take, which compounds the issue you just outlined beautifully for us with ability scores. I think fighters are going to be like, I guess maybe I'll just put +2 into wisdom, intelligence, because I don't have any more feat to take. I don't know. I think there's some interesting things that these changes are really going to affect the game in probably more profound ways than I think perhaps on the surface it might seem.
I always go back and forth with that firing in melee, where as an archer, it's something that I want, but it's also, I don't want to get too deep down this rabbit hole, but you've heard me say it a lot, that when given the chance, players of games will optimize the fun out of games. And I think part of being an archer is putting yourself in situations where you can make those shots. And now you don't necessarily have to. I guess that was always a thing, but with Sharpshooter, it's like, it's another one of those feats where it's like, you have to take this. If you're an archer and you don't take Sharpshooter, your group's going to be like, what are you doing?
You're doing it wrong. You're just objectively doing it wrong. Yeah.
I'm very interested to actually try these out. So, but I would love to hear viewers, what do you think about this? Is it a good change? Do you miss the -5 +10? I kind of do. I like the risk reward. Let us know in the comments, and also let us know what you want to talk about next, because Jake and I have been digging through the 2024 Player's Handbook, and there's a lot of stuff in there to talk about. So I guess I should say we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. There's a video here they can hear you click on.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Join the Discord.
Link in the link tree.
All right. Good night, everybody.